Time to end April off right by doing another Tubi original film. I was on Tubi, I saw they added a new movie with none other than Bruce Willis on the poster, and with the fact for some reason my Titanic 6666666 review doing very well, this was a sign. Despite how obvious garbage this movie was going to be, I had to watch it in order to get more views because for some reason the movies I don't recommend are my most popular reviews. I don't know. Everyone loves to discuss Bruce Willis as he's doing as many of these garbage direct-to-DVD slash Redbox exclusive slash streaming films as he can before losing himself to aphasia. Aphasia? Am I pronouncing that right? Actually, I don't know if I pronounced that right. I should probably have looked it up. But whatever. Many made fun of him for doing these movies before he came out about this and planned to retire. And you know what? I still respect him for coming out about such a personal issue. And while the reason he does these garbage movies perplex me still, I still respect a man who has become such a great actor with roles in Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, The Sixth Sense, and David Dunn in Unbreakable and Glass. That doesn't mean these bargain bin movies are worth my money though. So as much as many people stopped making fun of him for doing these, he still has several of these he shot coming out. Well, he didn't shoot it, he's just in it for a day or two. And they are just as bad as you think they are. This one, however, was free to watch thanks to being a Tubi original film, which already sets the bar just so low. But then you have the cast and crew. The movie is based on a graphic novel with the same name I never heard of by Grant Chastain, but it was written and directed by Sean Patrick O'Reilly. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh yeah, he's the man behind Arcadian Productions, who's made such films as Panda vs. Alien. Saw it last year, I hated it. But this is his first live action film, and not only is Bruce Willis a part of this cast, I mean, if you don't know, Bruce Willis doesn't really star in these movies. He kind of has a big role, but he shows up to set for a day. You can kind of tell he gets his lines fed to him, leaves with his millions. But what about the rest of the cast? Well, I guess I should explain the movie itself. The movie is about in the world of supervillains and well, we see no superheroes. In fact, confusingly enough, it opens pretty much saying people gain superpowers from some, I don't know, chemical exposure thing, which some people are dying of, but it never comes into the story. Anyways, I think they are supposed to be forced in prison, deemed too much of a danger to society, but it's not just supervillains. Well, no, it is just supervillains, except they're all dudes for some reason. Like, why is there no female supervillains? Also, a female guard has super strength. She's the only other character other than the prisoners to have superpowers. Oh, I forgot, this movie doesn't deserve the time of day to be explained about properly. So, it's about a prison that holds supervillains, the worst of the worst, including an all-star cast from other superhero stuff you might have seen. Micheal Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy plays Warden Devlin. Tom Cavanagh plays the mentor prisoner Gordon Tweedy. Great name. Dan Payne has a Punisher knockoff called Payback. I don't know, I never saw Watchmen, but I know he was in it. Brennan Mejia plays the main character, I think the main one, named Diego, who was once a Power Ranger. I stopped watching Power Rangers, like since I was 8, I think. I don't remember. And then you got Bruce Willis as the mysterious, most deadly, dangerous prisoner who runs the show behind bars. How did they screw this up? I'll tell you, this is a boring movie. It's 99 minutes long. And it feels that long since nothing happens in this movie. It's a prison filled with supercriminals. I don't know what I do differently. No, I do have a few ideas, but I feel like there's some potential with this. Even I could just come up with off the top of my mouth. This is going to sound a bit weird, but I like prison movies. There's something about putting people in the worst place they could be and finding solace is provocative. You know, like The Shawshank Redemption or Cool Hand Luke. They're some of my favorite movies, which they kind of reference Cool Hand Luke actually. Someone says, looks like what we got here is a failure to communicate. Well, I'm quoting the original movie because, you know, they say the line with curse words, and also wrong. And then there's garbage exploitation films I also found on Tubi, but for whatever the hell Amazon Hotbox is, wait, what the hell is Amazon Hotbox? Tubi does have good movies on there, including a good Bruce Willis movie. But I see what they added recently, not the Twilight movies. I chose this movie. Not the Twilight movies, no. I chose this movie. Basically, since we just have scenes go by where someone does something in prison, I guess, when the movie opens with a Punisher knockoff, at least I think, I never watched the show actually. I know, tell me how wrong I am for not watching that show, you know, in person. But anyways, when the movie opens with Payback, a vigilante who kills super crooks goes to jail. I think he's who I'm following, and that has potential right there since it's a former vigilante in a prison full of super crooks he put behind bars. Well, he kills his enemies since the he kills his enemies since the Punisher knockoff. But we mostly follow Diego, an empath who luckily saves Bruce Willis's character by tackling Payback, so now we follow him as he gets mentored by Cavanagh's character, kind of. Scenes just go by. I don't know how to explain it. It just never feels like anything progresses over time. They build up a breakout kind of happening, which I thought it was going to happen sooner, but that was just Cavanagh's character trying to break out. I don't know. All he does is use a fork to open the power dampener leg bracelet thing. I forget what they call it in the movie. It's just basically one of those things you see like wrapped around someone's ankle. It's pretty much just looks like a metal beer. It just looks like, I don't know, it's one, I don't know. How has no one escaped already? 55 minutes in, never hinted at prior, Diego has a wife and child, and it never comes back in prior. The Super Crooks wanting revenge for Payback goes nowhere. Even the breakout by the end makes no sense. But they build up that Bruce Willis is such a dangerous criminal, yet the way they handled this is so stupid and lazy. Like, wow, that's a massive effort and lazy and stupid. Like, most direct-to-DVD Willis stuff, he's barely in the film, or when he is, you can tell he wasn't on set for most of these scenes. And despite kind of playing a big part, you just can tell they asked him to say these lines, and he couldn't care less. He has one scene interacting with Rooker on screen, yet you know they got a ball guy from the backside for other shots. Is there anything positive about the movie? I mean, the acting is alright. Willis still clearly doesn't care. He's just here for the money. Rooker at least looks like he's having a good time. Cavanagh feels like he's trying, but knows this movie is also just a paycheck performance. I don't know. The story is nothing. The action is mediocre at best. I like some of the effects, and I'll give it this. I was uninterested in the story, but it didn't bother me. I didn't hate the film or feel angry. I was just bored, but I'd seen worse. This isn't a good movie. It goes on for way too long. Nothing's unique, enjoyable, or so forth. I got nothing else to say. It was a waste of time, and I think I would get more enjoyment watching Amazon Hotbox, because what the hell is Amazon Hotbox? What is this movie? I feel like there's more I should say, because now I think about it, I left out a ton of stuff, but I imply giving more care to talking about this stupid movie that really doesn't deserve it. I give Corrective Measures a 2 out of 10.